almost, it's like Christmas time for us, and it's great to see that we were able to open all the presents for this Christmas season, and there's some really good presents too. I remember growing up, and my mom, my brother, and sister, we looked to see who had a better present or whatever, but I think it was pretty evenly distributed in this class. But really good football players in this class. I look at it as not as many from a quantity standpoint, but quality-wise, I feel like this is one of our better recruiting class when it comes to that overall. Really talented kids that have a chance to come in and compete and try to help this football team. And I think some guys will be make an impact immediately. That's the expectation. And tell them all they have a chance to come in and take someone's job, and a lot of them are talented enough to do that. So really excited to get them here on campus and see what they can do. But grateful that all those guys signed with us. It's such a relief to have that. You go up to signing day, you're excited about guys, but you're never sure until that paper come in. And like I said, it's good to see we got all the guys that we wanted and guys that wanted to be here.
When you came aboard, you had a serious glaring depth issue on the offensive line. Considering what you got now and what you got today, is that issue addressed?
It is, and I think in a lot of areas, not just the O-line, but I think the bigger we got here, we just needed a lot more players in a lot of areas. We needed not only just players, but build some depth, and that was going to take some time. You can't get it all in one or two recruiting classes. And over time, we've been able to answer a lot of those questions. And I think when you look at our team now, that's one thing you'll be able to see is not only do we have some good football players, but we're a good football team with good depth. Where guys, if someone did go down, the next guy's talented enough to go in there and play and not be a let-off. But I also think that it's happening. One reason for our turnaround is creating competition within our football program. Many guys care about their position and keeping their jobs. And we'll have guys just at a position to think, okay, this guy behind me, he's not going to play. Coach don't want to do that. He can't put this guy in behind me. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now they know the guy behind them is plenty good enough to come in there and take more jobs, and they got to come ready to go every day.
You recruited two guys who got 4-star ratings across the board, Darnell Solomon and Craig Watts. Could you just speak about each of those guys and how immediately you think they can help your team?
Well, I think both of them are talented enough to come in and play, and we expect them to come in and compete for a job. And Darnell is one heck of a talent. All you got to do is turn the film on, and you'll see it. Him and Craig both, and they're difference makers. The reason why pretty much everyone in the country recruited those kids, and coaches did a great job of building those relationships and getting those kids interested in South Florida and wanting to be here, and they're going to make a difference. And I think it's a trend that we want to continue here in South Florida, getting those kind of guys in our program. But big time player. Darnell's a big time receiver. He's big, he's strong, and he's fast. When you have all those combinations, it can be scary out there at the receiver position. And that's what we expect from him, some scary play out on the football field. And Craig, to get a guy here locally here in the Bay Area, as talented as he is and can go a lot of other places and play football, but decided to stay here. And he was one of those kids from day one. You just sensed that he really wanted to be here. He was on campus a lot. When you saw him on campus, he was always smiling. He was always excited about being there. And we stayed with him the whole time. And he committed elsewhere. And then we got him back, and that was good to see. And now we have him for sure. And then he's able to stay home here locally. And hopefully we get not only the Bay Area to come out, Tampa Bay, but even people in the Burg over in St. Pete to come over and watch him play as well.
How would you say your season last year and your bowl appearance affected recruiting overall, the success that you had?
Well, that's interesting. I think what it did was it solidified the guys that we had committed to us that this is guys that signed with us today, they've been committed to us for a long time, you know, and I think when things were a little shaky there at the beginning, they were kind of on the fence a little bit, and rightfully so. You know, they didn't know what was going to go on here, so, and their future was in front of them. So then we started winning, and things started to turn around, and they knew everybody was going to be here, and saw the way the program was going, and kind of solidified them. Yeah, this is the right place for me. This is where I want to be, and where I'm going to stay. And like I said, we kept those guys. You know, the guys that committed to us and then left to go somewhere else, they were like committed to us for a week or so. So it wasn't like guys that we had in the fold for a long period of time. But I think that's what the season did. More importantly, is kept those guys, and then we added a couple guys, and I'm sure because of the success that we had on the football field, played a big part of that. You know, and we expect that to be even better going into this season and for our next class.
You added a couple of guys in your backyard, Dukes and Hampton, who weren't listed on the national recruiting commitments list. Were they a surprise to you? Do you feel good about getting those guys?
I feel good because they told me, you know, they told me and wanted to see if I could keep a secret.
Okay.
They did a good job of keeping a secret there. But after they visited and got around our players and our coaches, felt like this was a place for them and how they can stay here and get everything accomplished that they want to get accomplished academically and athletically and socially. You know, especially with these kids here. The beauty of it is 9 times out of 10 when they go off to college and they're finished, they graduate, they come back home. Where these kids they're not coming back home, they're staying home. You know, and they have a lot of opportunities here in the Bay to not only be just great football players, but be great young men that can go out in our community and continue to build our community here in the Bay. And to me, that's what it's all about.
I mean, you're pretty good stature right now at quarterback with the guys you kept coming back, and you added a Ludicon. Is that kind of have some guys competing and then have a young guy come in to develop? Is that what cycle you'd like to continue at that position?
Well, I think we always want to have at least 4 guys on scholarship at the quarterback position, and we like to have 4 good football players, you know, and again, a lot of those guys compete, and you look at college football nowadays, you can't have enough of them, you know, so we wanted to sign a good quarterback that can come in here and compete and be able to continue the momentum that we've started, and but also challenge the guys that we have here as well to continue to get better. And so being able to do that, again, it goes back to just adding depth to your program and being able to, so that can keep rolling. You know, again, you look at what Baylor went through this year, what Ohio State went through, and a lot of these teams, it's tough out there. So we want to make sure we have the right guys and good enough guys to where if someone goes down, this guy can step in and play.
Looks like you got some solid, not only players, but citizens in this class. One that comes to mind is Michael Wiggs, honor student. Parents are USF alumni. Can you speak to him?
Yeah, he's an interesting young man. He's a great kid to be around, a lot of energy. You know, he's one of those kids, when you meet him, it's like you've been knowing him forever. There's never a dull moment around when Mike's around. He's a great kid, great academically, one heck of a football player. You look at him and you meet him and like, man, he's so nice. He's too nice. You know, you wouldn't think that this kid plays the way they do. You know, but you turn on the film, it's like this don't match up a little bit. You meet him and he's nice, and then on the field he's trying to hurt you. You know, but kid that loves the game. He loved the game. He loved his teammates. He's a leader. He's gonna be a great leader for us, I think. And you know, and it's always good to have a smart guy right there, especially playing on the whole line. He can help a lot of guys out, make sure they're in the right place.
And how much did you enjoy in the recruiting process getting to know Josh Dunn?
I really enjoy it because he's another great young man, kind of like Michael, smart, highly competitive. Now he's not as open as Mike. Now Mike is, again, he's never been a stranger. Where Josh is more laid back a little bit, and he's gonna read you before he can give you everything he has. But a heck of a talent. Again, he's one of those kids that he's smart, he's so nice, you wouldn't think he's that physical on the football field. And when you turn it on, he's out there shorting guys' necks when he's out there. So, but it's great to have those guys, those kind of guys in your football program, and guys that want to be great, that's passionate, that love the game of football, and looking to better themselves and better our football team by coming here.
Coach, talking about the local guys, you talked about them becoming great in that community, but how does that transition from high school to college football? Does it make that transition a little bit easier too, or no?
I think having great mentors as coaches is the one that's going to make it easier for them. It's different for all of them, and even though they're here, they're still not going to be at mom and dad's home and coming into having mom and dad wake them up, and a lot of those things they got to do on their own, and it's our jobs to help them grow, not just as football players, but as young men, and that's something we take pride in, is helping them grow as men. Football part is easy, and that's what they do, and while we all recruit them, and usually they don't fail at football, it's something else that keeps them from being a great football player, and so helping them grow as a young man is the key, and sometimes it can be tough in here at home, but if you have a good structure and some great leaders on your football team, it helps the whole transition for all of them, and I think the foundation has been set in our football program to help guys like them as they come in our program now to continue to prosper and be great at everything they do. Again, not just in football. One thing I hate, and I think where we'll fail as coaches, is those guys grow as football players, but they don't grow as men. And when it's all said and done, they're still kids, and then they can't go in our community and be successful like we all want them to be. I hope that answers your question.
Are Gaynor, McDonald, and Wiggs multiple position kind of guys, or how do you see them kind of shaking down as to where they will play for you?
McDonald and who else you say?
You're Gaynor and Wiggs, your O-lineman.
They're Gaynor. He's a tackle. That's for sure. He's a big one. And we expect big things for him. And McDonald, he's a tackle who's not as big as those other guys, but talented and physical. I think that kid's gonna be special for us, to be honest with you. And he played the game like he's supposed to. He's physical, he gets out there, he just loves doing it. So, but those guys are pretty much at the position where they're gonna be. Looking forward to them competing as well.
Can you speak to Jackson and Johnson, who could fill in an area of need for you?
Both of them really good football players. Frank Johnson, he's gonna have to sleep and spend the night in the weight room a little bit with Coach O and pick up. But both of them are very talented. Jackson, he's on campus now, a great kid. He's always around. He's always smiling. You can tell he's one of those kids that really appreciate being here. And he's willing to work. I talked with Coach O and talked with some of his teammates, and they all rave about him. And I think that speaks value when a guy can just come in your program and the whole football team like him already. It says a lot about him and what he's all about. And I think that's going to help him big time by being here early and being able to go through spring ball and then getting adjusted to his teammates in our community.
When you look at who you've got coming back and then who you've added at all the positions, are you in good shape depth-wise? Is there any kind of place you still would like to beef up?
No, I think we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good in a lot of those, in all those areas. Some of them got some development to go. I mean, these guys is coming in, and some guys that redshirt got to continue to develop. The guys that redshirted this past year going to have the spring to help with that development, and then these guys that's coming in, they're going to have opportunity to come in and compete and see if they can go. But I think overall, again, the last couple of years we played a lot of guys young, and that helped tremendously with the experience and getting them in a position to where they played a lot of ball games, and it's going to help us now. They're more juniors now, and but I think depth-wise is where we want to be as a football team now. Just continue to be that way, and again, as a coach, you're not as nervous about getting someone injured because you feel better about the kid's backup and that he can play just as well as the first guy.
way your 2s and 3s look now are different than when you showed up.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm really excited about this spring, you know, because of that. You know, I'm excited about every practice and watching those guys compete. I'm excited about the spring game because I think it'll be so much more competitive now because we have that depth now, and not just bodies, but really good football players.
What are you looking to see in the spring? What's kind of, you know, on your mind first and foremost?
Just getting better. You know, I look at our football team and hey, from day one, that's all we talked about is getting better. You know, we say we need to get better, you get worse, no one stays the same. And I think when you look at our program from the day I got here and to where we're at now, that's what you've seen is improvement in every aspect, you know, on and off the field. And that's the thing we want to do is continue to get better. We had 1 year in the system offensively and defensively. And, so you expect for it to be better. You know, we had a darn good year offensively and defensively in that 1 year. So guys finally have back-to-back years in the system. You expect for them to take off even more and play more confident and faster than what we've had in the past. And, so I'm looking for the Gulf Coast offense to take off even more and the Bull Shark defense to keep doing what they do, but being even better than what we were this past year.
The new coordinator, Coach Willie, will the Bull Shark defense still be that 4-2-5?
Yes, sir. Again, we're not changing. We're just gonna enhance and make better. You know, that's kind of what we're looking to do. And look at that. There's only one guy changed over there, and that was the coordinator. But you still got Augie Sanchez. You still got Devin Abraham, Deacon Nichols, Nigel Harris. You know, Ronnie Hoggins, Johnny Ward, Tajay Forward. You know, Dejan Sanat.
List goes on and on.
That's going on. Those guys are still there, so I feel pretty good about where we're at there, you know, and so I'm excited about that.
That being said, does Greg Watts look like a Husky to you?
He is. We call him a striker now, but
The Husky is not the striker.
he's a striker. That's what they do. They strike people, and but he will be there in the striker position. Him and Josh Dunn both, and those guys will be competing at that spot as well.
Husky out, striker in. Striker, that's the word now, striker.
Expect him to strike people too. You see him being very aggressive.
Wait a minute. The striker is the Husky.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's Jamie Bird's position.
Okay. Clears it all up. Clears it all up.
Terminology still in transition?
Yes, I mean, we're not changing much. You know, we're gonna keep the terminology the same over there. Again, that won't do us any justice right now to go and just change everything. You know, we did well, you know, and we know we can be so much better than what we were this past year on the defense side of the ball and offense. But changing everything is not gonna help us continue to improve, you know, but enhancing some of the things that we do and eliminate the things that we don't do well and things we did well is to be better at them, you know, and allow our guys to go out and play fast and play hard. I know now a lot of those guys, especially defensively, they're still ticked about that bowl game, you know, and just watching those guys work and how they up in the office all the time, they have a little chip on their shoulder and they feel like they have something to prove on that side of that ball game. So really excited about that.
Anything else for Coach? When does spring practice start?
Spring practice starts March 23rd.
A whole schedule out for you, early next week.
Spring game
days. and,
April 16th
Practice days.
Very good.
Where's the spring game?
on campus.
Okay,
Stadium, Third Street.
Better get there early, boy. Might not be a spot now, baby. Better get there early, start tailgating all day.
I want to camp out
You
overnight.
probably would, cause I tell you,
Might not be room for you on the sideline.
it might not. Well, I tell you, everyone's excited. You know, can't stop the momentum. You can only hope to contain it.
Good.